Karate friends, welcome to Classics in Color. This is Mark Graves, and today we're going to be talking about small genitals. So, people generally know that different cultures and different time periods have different beauty standards for what they're into, what people should look like in their opinion. And we often talk about how this applies to women, but today we're going to talk about how this can apply to men as well. So in modern American culture, it's sort of a common thing to high five, good job, somebody who has a large hog, so to speak, and pity or mock somebody who doesn't. We make fun of people who have large trucks because we think they're overcompensating. So that's sort of the standard in modern America. In ancient Greece, it was the opposite of that. So you would make fun of somebody who had large genitals, and good job to anyone who had a small pair. So we're going to look into why that was today. First, how do I know this? Well, I'm going to read you a little quote from a comic play called The Clouds from around 400-ish BC, written by a fellow named Aristophanes. So, quick intro to Greek comedy. It's just like comedy today in a lot of ways. There's pratfalls, fart jokes, jokes about sex. It's comedy. So genitals are fair game to come up, I guess, and there is a quote about them. There's a male character, and he's talking with his buddies, and he's describing what an ideal, handsome man looks like to him, the qualities that he has. So he says he would have a gleaming chest, bright skin, broad shoulders. I agree with that. A tiny tongue, which I actually have no idea why that is a thing, like where that's coming from. But also strong buttocks, so I guess our culture would agree with that. And a small prick. So, right from the horse's mouth. Why would this be? Well, one of the reasons is that Stoicism was the main philosophy of this time. So Stoicism is a lot like what it sounds like. It's like being like Spock, having your emotions under control, thinking logically. A big part of Stoicism is believing that the universe is deterministic. So you can't change anything about your fate. So it's immature to throw a big fit and fight it and get emotional about it. So the best reaction you can have is just to be stoic and realize that it's inevitable and just deal with it as it comes. Now, when I say philosophy, we may get a different meaning from that than the ancients have. So we think of philosophy as sort of a stuffy, distant thing, to some extent in the modern world. But philosophy in the ancient world was a little bit more like what we would think of as religion. So in the ancient world, religion was something that was public. Mostly. It was public, people shared in public rituals, sort of like today if you go to an American sport event, we're always going to sing the national anthem, there's probably going to be a prayer, but it's more about the community coming together, participating in this ceremony, bringing good luck on you, getting God on the side of your team. Whereas, so it's a public thing. Whereas in the ancient world, if you wanted something that was more personal, that was about what should I do with my life, what is morality to me, that was more the realm of philosophy. So philosophy was more important, I guess, and more common than it was now. Anyways, so Stoicism was the main philosophy, and therefore it was a big deal. So, all that in mind, if you had large, erect genitals, that was a sign that you didn't have your emotions under control, that you were being influenced by the outside world, and you didn't have all your stuff together. Also, large genitals were just funny, in their opinion. They thought they were hysterical, and they laughed at them just as we would laugh at certain physical characteristics today. You can see this in ancient vase paintings, so they would have a vase painting of a play taking place, and also written accounts. Some people wrote about this, how actors would wear these big, ridiculous costumes for a comic play, and they would have, a bright red face or a goofy beard. It's sort of like, now we would have a goofy mustache or something. They would also have a lot of padding, so like a big belly, a big butt, and then on top of all that, they would have a large phallus sewn on the front of their costume, because they were just, their whole character was just supposed to be something that was funny that you could laugh at. Similarly, we also have vase paintings of satyrs. Quick refresher, satyrs, the half man, half goat mythical creatures that hang out in the woods, in the mountains. So they're supposed to be wild, bestial. They're not civilized. They spend a lot of time drinking, a lot of time having sex, often trying to rape people. They're not role models in any sense. They're sort of laughed at, and they're often portrayed with large genitals. So we see that genitals are associated with characters that you don't look up to, that you laugh at. On the other hand, if you look at statues of heroes and gods, that sort of thing, they're almost always going to have a small package, and it's going to be just chilling down there. It's not going to be doing anything. And that's to show that these are guys that you want to look up to, you want to aspire to, and they have their emotions under control. They're good to go. So that's how and why the Greeks thought about male genitals. Thanks for tuning in today. This was Mark Graves with Classics in Color. See you next time.